All right, happy Tuesday. It's NFC Championship game week. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles now live here on Chat Sports. Chase Sr. here with you. Really appreciate all of you rocking with us in the Fly Eagles Fly family. What a matchup we have to preview all throughout the week, and we're doing it every single day on Eagles Now. We appreciate you for being a part of it as well. It's the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday, 3 o'clock Eastern at Lincoln Financial Field for the right to play in Glendale, Arizona in a couple of weeks for Super Bowl 57. Two of the best, most successful, most well-run organizations with a very tiny playoff history, clashing in what could be one of the best NFC Championship games we've seen in a long time because of how good both of these teams are, just stacked with premier talent up and down the roster. Birds are 2.5-point favorites. Kickoff slated for 3 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday in South Philly. It's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy, and our coverage is going to be the best. Over-under set for 45.5. So we're coming to you from Dallas, Texas. In the last couple of days walking to work, it felt so good knowing that the Cowboys are going home early thanks to the San Francisco 49ers, the next opponent for Philadelphia. So that's where we are. Myself, Trizzy, Abby, we're here to chop it up with all of you. Where are you tuned in from? Let us know in the comment section right now. The homie Brandon Ford is here saying, let's go. Brandon Ford sent in a $10 super chat. We have an awesome super chat menu for you as well. Elijah Stovall throwing in the eagle emojis. John O'Malley, bro, y'all letting the Niner fans outvote us. Well, looking at the poll here, do you think the Eagles are threatened by San Francisco? Do the 49ers pose a legitimate threat? So far, interesting votes here. It's yes, they're very good, 63%. 37% no, they haven't played the Birds. We'll see if that's able to separate over time, but it's interesting because I'll say it. San Francisco is very legit, as evidenced by what I said in our preview video yesterday, which is currently popping off on the channel. Brandon Ford with the $10 super chat. Let's effing go. Eagles by 4. Purdy don't want this smoke at the link. I love it, Brandon. And with that, let's show him the super chat menu right now, just so we know what Brandon is paying for and so that we can cook up some fun for you on today's show. It's 1:05 Central here, 2:05 p.m. Eastern. But we're always down to have a good time live on Philadelphia Eagles Now. So every $5 super chat that does come in, we are going to beat the Miner helmet here. Every $10 super chat that comes in, we're going to do an athletic green shot. Thanks to them. They are our presenting sponsor for today's show. $20 an AG1 chug, so we'll chug some green powder, pretty much. $50 a coffee funnel. I'll throw some coffee into the Freedom Funnel. I'll chug that for $50, and for $100, we'll punch a Niners fan. So 50 people watching live right now, 11 likes, continue to comment, hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and of course, a lot of great talking points to really discuss here live on Eagles Now. And speaking of athletic greens, we're really excited to partner with them here at Chat Sports and on Eagles Now. A wonderful sponsor that certainly means a lot to me in my daily routine. So what I want people to do right now is spam AG down in the comment section to celebrate our new sponsorship. And we'll tell you about Athletic Greens, which is sponsoring Philadelphia Eagles Now live here during NFC Championship game week in this awesome matchup between San Francisco and Philadelphia. I take AG1 every day, and you can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try because given my work schedule here at Chat Sports combined with my training regimen as I'm on a mission to run every single day for a year straight, the running streak approaching 250 days right now, I wanted sustained energy and to stay healthy by keeping my immune system strong so that I can strive toward my professional work life and personal fitness goals. I take AG1 every morning as part of my routine, and it really sets the table for the rest of my day. It's helped improve my gut health. It's boosted my energy, supports my immune system. It helps me recover since I'm putting such a toll on my body. I try to steer clear of chemicals and harsh ingredients in my life, which is why I love AG1. And it's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I just mix 1 scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing in the morning or before and after my workouts. I also love that something that's this good for you in prioritizing your health and wellness, one life, one body, that's the motto, costs less than $3 a day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. That link is in the comment section as well as the description of this video. So continue to type AG1 here in the comment section. Again, we do appreciate them for sponsoring the show. A lot of people in the chat here. Elijah Stovall, Nick Stone, Davis with the $5 super chat. He said beat the Eagles helmet. You mean beat the Niners helmet? Here we go. That one coming in from Davis. Appreciate that $5 super chat, my guy. Brandon Ford with the $10 super chat a little bit earlier. John O'Malley making a good point that certainly impacts San Francisco's defense. Charles Omeni, who got arrested. CMC is hurt. These dudes got no chance. I won't say that they won't have any chance. Christian McCaffrey does expect to play on Sunday. And for Charles Omeni, who was arrested for suspicion of domestic violence, we'll continue to monitor that situation. All right, let's get back on track here. Who you got in Sunday's game? Birds, Niners. Terrific matchup. PHI for Philly, SF for San Francisco. Or as a lot of people have said to me on Twitter and in the chat, on the comment section here on Eagles Now, it's Silicon Valley against South Philly. I really do like that. Davis with another $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. Beat the Eagles helmet. We don't have an Eagles helmet here. But go Birds. Thank you, Davis, for that $5 donation. You're the man. Losing hope. What's good, brother? Good to interact with you the other day. Brandon Ford. Niners look tired on Sunday. They won't be able to hang at the link. Timothy Kumer. PHI. By the way, continue to use the hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get some of your questions, some of your comments featured on the show. We'll certainly want to interact with you all throughout the day. And if you're loving this playoff ride right now, it's been magical for Philadelphia. Franchise record 14 wins in the regular season, 14-3 this year, won the NFC East, overtaking the Dallas Cowboys, still playing. Dallas would never at this point in the postseason, by the way. They lock up that number 1 seed in the NFC, which is why home field advantage, and the NFC has to run through Philadelphia. Another reminder, use hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get featured on the show. Let's chop it up later on. Coming up first, we're going to go through the latest Eagles news, rumors, analysis, matchups to watch. Another look at our Super Chat menu. We just wanted to go live to chop it up with the Fly Eagles Fly family. Here is our Super Chat menu. $5, you beat the Miner helmet, which is right here. Brandon Ford sent us in at 10, so we do have to do an AG1 shot. If y'all could hand me one of those packets. AG1. AG1, proud sponsor of Philadelphia Eagles Now. Actually, let's do this. This is what I'm going to do. We're going to mix it in the mixer and then pour it out like that. Here we go. This stuff is delicious. I love it. Less than 1 gram of sugar as well. No artificial sweeteners. Good ingredients. So we're staying healthy after Saturday's watch party. Got a little crazy. So an AG1 shot for our guy Brandon Ford. See how quickly it dissolves and turns green. And for Brandon Ford, our guy, shot of AG1. Cheers, brother. And it's green for the Eagles, by the way. How about that? Green for the Eagles as well. All right, coming up, going to talk some Eagles news, Eagles rumors, matchups to watch against San Francisco. Really excited to dive into all of that. Up to $20 in Super Chats. We'll, of course, take your questions and your donations all throughout the show, as we always appreciate everything. $50, we're doing a coffee Freedom Funnel. I'm looking forward to hopefully doing that. And without further ado, let's dive into today's show officially. Appreciate all of you for watching. All right, here we go. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. Hope all of your weeks are going in grand fashion as we have quite the NFC Championship game to continue to talk about all throughout the week. Top 2 teams in the NFC, both with historic franchise histories, great fan bases as well, and 2 rosters that are straight up loaded with some future Hall of Fame, Pro Bowl, and All-Pro level talent. It's San Francisco on the road against Philadelphia, Sunday in the NFC Championship game. for the right to play in Super Bowl 57. As for what we're getting into on today's show, according to Albert Breer, Philadelphia making an aggressive play for Vic Fangio if Jonathan Gannon gets a job elsewhere. We're going to look at some of the key matchups to watch in this football game because there's so much talent, and thanks to all of you for watching because that means that you're a certified real one. Before we dive into everything on the Eagles docket, make sure you subscribe. With this video alone, trying to get to 40,000 subscribers. Being able to talk birds on the daily since taking over the channel prior to the season has been a huge honor for me growing up in the Philadelphia area, and here they are. 7th NFC Championship game in the last 21 years. 2nd since 2017 with another opportunity to put a Lombardi trophy on the shelf at the NovaCare Complex. Please show us some love and subscribe to stay informed year-round on the birds. As for why you should subscribe, if you're coming to us for the first time, daily Eagles videos. We're not behind a paywall. Everything is free. We'll do news, rumors, and analysis. When breaking news happens, we have you covered with really in-depth level content. We do live shows and watch parties like we'll be doing on Sunday for the NFC title game, and all of our coverage and our content is entertaining and informative. All right, we start off with this. Vic Fangio. Are the Eagles making an aggressive play for one of the best defensive coordinators in the sport? According to Albert Breer, Eagles could look to make an aggressive play for a guy who is going to have a wide market during the upcoming coaching carousel. This will only happen if Jonathan Gannon, who was interviewed with the Houston Texans and could be an Arizona Cardinals candidate, departs as the Eagles' current defensive coordinator and gets a job elsewhere. He is not going to be let go by Nick Sirianni, who vouched for him and backed him up after Saturday's game against the Giants, basically talking and calling out the criticism from Angelo Cataldi and others because Gannon has put up very good defensive numbers this year. So this is only going to happen. Vic Fangio coming to his home state of Pennsylvania as he grew up in Dunmore if Jonathan Gannon goes elsewhere. And Fangio is going to have opportunities with Philadelphia potentially if Gannon does depart or with other teams across the NFL because his fingerprints and his defensive style really sprinkled across the entire National Football League for him being a defensive savant. Now, this report, as I said, did come from Albert Breer. Here's what he had to say. Vic Fangio is a name you'll hear a lot in the coming weeks for defensive coordinator positions. I'd expect Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins to make an aggressive play, as would the Eagles if they lose Gannon. More from Breer. Bear with us here because this is really important in the context of all of this. Though Fangio has been granted his own access to the NovaCare Complex in South Philly because he is currently contributing remotely as a consultant, one could surmise he is helping with the game plans in some capacity, but does not have a role in the live game day action and isn't working at NovaCare. One can also wonder why word of Fangio's involvement didn't come to light a little bit sooner. Perhaps there is a concern about optics of Gannon being undermined, or perhaps the Eagles are just quietly preparing to replace Gannon with Fangio if Philly's defensive coordinator ends up getting a head coaching job in the 2023 hiring cycle. Gannon clearly drew interest last year after getting fired by the Broncos, interviewing for multiple openings before returning to the Eagles. There would be logic to Fangio eventually replacing Gannon, in addition to boasting an impressive resume. Fangio is a Dunmore, Pennsylvania native, 2 hours north of Philly, the neighboring town of Scranton. Shout out to the 570. Type it if you're from there. He also has a relationship with former Denver Broncos Vice President of Player Personnel and current Eagles Senior Personnel Director and Advisor to the General Manager, Matt Russell. Russell and Fangio overlapped in 2019 and 2020. So the back end, some just additional information there. But again, this is all important in the context of this conversation. And then some of the takeaways there. You think Howie Roseman and the Eagles maybe moving in silence to keep it under wraps that they're interested in Vic Fangio because Jonathan Gannon has done a good job, and you don't want to disgruntle him because he's a current employee. And you don't want to undermine Gannon because this is flat out business culture optics. When you have a candidate in-house and a guy who's working for you on the payroll who's doing a quality job, you don't want there to be rumors and speculation out there that he's going to get replaced by a guy who's currently working for the organization as a consultant. It would just be weird. It would be ugly, and that's not how Jeffrey Lurie's Eagles run. That's why they're back in the NFC title game. So pick one. If you could pick a defensive coordinator for Philly, who would it be? JG for Jonathan Gannon. VF for Vic Fangio. Let us know down in the comment section. Fangio, one of the all-time greats, and Gannon has made massive strides and improvements from last year. Coming up next on the show, I'm excited to really get into the nitty-gritty. Some matchups to watch in this loaded NFC Championship game, which when you canvass the rosters, I think could be one of the best NFC title games that we've seen in recent memory because of how talented these teams are. First, though, really excited to partner up here on Eagles Now and at Chat Sports with Athletic Greens, a sponsor and a company that means a lot to me in prioritizing my health and really putting myself in a position to succeed professionally with my work-life goals, but also my athletic training regimen. I take AG1 every day, and you can get comprehensive and convenient daily nutrition at athleticgreens.com/chatsports. I gave AG1 a try a while ago, given my work schedule at Chat Sports, combined with my training regimen, as I'm on a mission to run every day for a year straight. My running routine and daily streak is up to about 250 days, and because of that, I wanted sustained energy, working 7 days a week, covering the NFL and the Eagles, and to stay healthy by keeping my immune system strong so that I can strive toward those professional work life and personal fitness goals. I take AG1 every morning as part of my routine, and it sets the table for the rest of my day. It's helped improve my gut health, it's boosted my energy, it supports my immune system, and helps me recover since I'm putting such a toll on my body. I've also really prioritized my health since my mom passed away from cancer, so I do try to steer clear of chemicals and harsh ingredients, which is also why I love AG1, and it's 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water and drink it first thing each morning or before and after my workouts. I also love that something that's this good for you in prioritizing your health and wellness, one life, one body, costs less than $3 a day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and F and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Check it out. That link is in the comment section and the description of this video. Now we shift gears and move forward here on today's show with the top matchups to watch in this NFC title game between Philadelphia and San Francisco. And I want to start with the Eagles offensive line pitted up against the Niners defensive line. These are two of the top respective offensive and defensive lines in the National Football League. Star power on both of them, premier talent along each line. And really, when you think about the overall team success for Philadelphia and San Francisco this year, it is hinged on these two position groups. The Eagles offensive line here, every member of it named to an all-pro team, was a Pro Bowler or a Pro Bowl alternate. Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Jason Kelce, Isaac Seumalo, Lane Johnson. Specifically with Kelce, one of the best centers of all time, Lane Johnson, the best right tackle in the game, Mailata, Dickerson, Maulers, so too is Isaac Seumalo. And the 49ers defensive line is good. It's versatile. They're led by who I think is going to be the defensive player of the year in Nick Bosa. Eric Armstead is a menace on the interior and can be a game destructor. Javon Kinlaw hasn't lived up to the expectations of being a former first-round pick, but is a very solid player. And Samson Ebukam, also a hybrid edge rusher who has some quickness. As for the latest on Charles Omenihu, arrested in San Jose by San Jose police because of suspicion of domestic violence. We'll continue to monitor that situation here on Eagles Now. He's a very good player who had a career-high 4.5 sacks this year. And this defensive line, it's going to have to stop this Eagles rushing attack, which rushed for nearly 270 yards against the Giants in the divisional round. Kenneth Gainwell popped off, 12 carries, 112. Miles Sanders, 17 for 90. Boston Scott, 6 for 32. All of them averaging more than 5 yards per carry. As a team, Philadelphia averaged more than 6 yards per carry. Eagles offensive line, the rushing attack, which Jalen Hurts should be included in this, going up against that Niners defensive line and defense, one of the key matchups to watch in this game coming up on Sunday. So who do you think has the edge here? I've got a lot of great responses in my Twitter mentions, on Instagram, and here in the comment section on Eagles Now, comparing Silicon Valley against South Philly. That's the matchup in this NFC title game. Who has the edge? CA for Silicon Valley, PA for South Philly. Have some fun with it. 49ers offensive line against the Eagles defensive line. Another matchup that is going to be key in this football game and could decide who wins and who loses. As for this 49ers offensive line, they're led, like Lane Johnson is the best right tackle potentially all time at right tackle. Trent Williams is in that conversation for the blind side of Brock Purdy at left tackle. Aaron Banks has given up just 1 sack all year. Jake Brendel is a very, very good center. Spencer Burford was drafted out of UTSA. He's been terrific at right guard. And Mike McGlinchey struggled a little bit against Micah Parsons, but is probably a top 10, top 15 tackle in the sport. Outside of Trent Williams, some questions along this offensive line, despite the Niners being well coached up on that front and in a scheme that certainly favors them. And a big matchup to watch is going to be Hassan Reddick against Mike McGlinchey. McGlinchey was horizontal to the football field, thrown to the ground with one arm by Micah Parsons. And Hassan Reddick is a lot like Micah Parsons from an athletic specimen standpoint. This year, fantastic in the regular season, 16 sacks, 40 hurries, 26 quarterback hits to go along with 5 forced fumbles. So 49ers offensive line, Eagles defensive line, another matchup to pinpoint. So too is Brandon Ayuk against James Bradberry. Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, kind of a 1A, 1B at that wide receiver spot. So I think that Bradberry and Darius Slay will be covering both Deebo as well as Ayuk. Both can play outside and inside. So you might see Ayuk going up against Bradberry. And for Ayuk, he's slippery, he's fast, he's quick. He has some of the best footwork among all wide receivers in the NFL, really good hands, and can pick up yards after the catch. A career season for him, 78 catches on the year for more than 1,000 yards for the third-year man. Drafted in the first round, same draft as Jalen Reagor, by the way. He's ended up being a much better player with 8 touchdowns. And on top of Bradberry going up against Brandon Ayuk, he'll be matched up against Deebo as well, who's also so physical in the open field with breaking tackles, leads the league in yak since coming into the league as a second-round pick out of South Carolina. So with Ayuk going up against Bradberry, you would at least assume, right? It's a fantastic matchup. Who wins it? LGB for Let's Go Brandon, JB for James Bradberry. Let us know down in the comment section. Also with the Eagles, they have a loaded offense, and this 49ers secondary a little bit of a question mark. So A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith against Diamador Lenore and Charvarius Mooney Ward. Huge matchup in this game as well, because you have 2 different prototypes at wide receiver for Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, the closest thing that we've seen to Terrell Owens since T.O. He's physical, he's fast, he can break tackles. He also has his getaway speed. Given his stature and his size, really special. Nearly 1,500 yards in the regular season. Devontae Smith, like Brandon Ayuk, a very clean route runner. And like Brandon Ayuk, he's slippery. Tough to bring down because of his speed. Not as physical as Ayuk, but his quickness, his explosiveness is a special trait, certainly. And had 95 catches this year. Dallas Goedert picking up yards after the catch against that secondary for San Francisco. Keep an eye on that. Jimmy Ward could be lined up against Goedert. Another good matchup in this game. And then it's Nick Bosa against Lane Johnson. Best pure edge pass rusher in the NFL, in my opinion, against the best right tackle in the sport, a guy who's putting together a Hall of Fame type of trajectory in Lane Johnson. This is premier player, all-pro, future Hall of Famer against premier player, all-pro, future Hall of Famer. 2 of the best at their crafts and 2 guys who pour so much into their pass blocking techniques in Lane Johnson, led by the best offensive line coach in the league in Jeff Stoutland, against a guy in Nick Bosa, who Mike McDaniel was quoted as doing pass rush moves on a water jug. That's how much he cares about his craft. And for Bosa, great year this year. I think he's the Defensive Player of the Year. 18.5 sacks. That was number 1 in the NFL, right ahead of Hassan Reddick. Pro Football Focus, according to those numbers, he had 90 pressures on the season, 48 quarterback hits, an overall Pro Football Focus grade of 90.9, a pass rush grade of 90.9 as well, so equal there, a run defense grade of 81.1, so he's not just an edge rusher. He can really stack the box like a Brandon Graham and be stout against the run. He had 39 stops, and I think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And him matching up against Lane Johnson, who's going to win the one-on-one duel? If you watch Baldy's breakdowns, he's probably gushing about this matchup because he's a big fan of both. And how could you not be? They're 2 potential GOATs. Lane Johnson, in the regular season 2022, 972 total snaps, 551 pass blocking snaps, only 6 penalties, 0 sacks allowed, goose egg for hits allowed on Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew with only 9 pressures. Cannot wait to see these 2 duke it out. So our next question, who wins in the trenches here? At that edge spot, NB for Nick Bosa, the man they call the Bear, or is it the Lane Train in Lane Johnson? Let us know once again. More matchups to monitor here. San Francisco has to have disciplined pass rush lanes against Jalen Hurts. San Francisco has really struggled against mobile quarterbacks this year. Philadelphia is no doubt thinking about that in their game planning for this matchup. If Hurts gets outside or if he breaks contain right up the middle, Could be a long day for this Niners defense. Another coaching matchup that I want to talk about is Kyle Shanahan against Jonathan Gannon. The creativity and the offensive genius of Kyle Shanahan cooking against Jonathan Gannon, who has to prove, after a great performance against the Giants, we'll give him credit, and the Eagles do have some great defensive numbers. We'll talk about those, but he has to prove he can win a game against a premier offensive unit. Now's the time to do it for JG. It's the 49ers' number 1 rushing offense against the Eagles' number 15 rushing defense. I saw somebody chirp at me in the comment section saying, I took my like away because you said this Eagles rushing defense isn't good. They've been better since Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. Yes, they have. But you can hit that thumbs up icon, like the video, and still admit that the Eagles' rushing defense does have some holes and questions. Yes, they were good against Saquon. Can they be good against Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and Kyle Shanahan? We'll see. Christian McCaffrey, very good this year. Nearly 2,000 all-purpose yards this season through the air and on the ground. This guy is a special, special talent who will line up at slot receiver. He'll line up in the split back. They'll run 21 personnel with 2 backs and a couple of tight ends. They'll play smash mouth football, and he's also freakish with the ball in his hands, regardless of how Kyle Shanahan gets it to him. And Elijah Mitchell, he did only play 5 games this year, but in 15 career games, he has about 1,200 rushing yards. He is a very good number 2 back. Also, Niners linebackers against the Eagles offensive system. This 49ers linebacking core is tremendous. It's the best in the league. They're led by Fred Warner, who also is an all-timer, as we continue to talk about a bunch of all-timers on both sidelines in this matchup. But Dre Greenlaw and Azeez Al-Shaair are also very good. They have this unbelievable speed where they can range up and down the field vertically against the run, against the pass, but also sideline to sideline and be game records. And I want to talk for Fred Warner here for a few moments. This guy is a freak. This guy, since being a 3rd-round pick out of BYU, has been an all-pro. He's the best off-ball linebacker in the sport, and we saw that against the Cowboys. This was a legacy game for Fred Warner against Dallas in the NFC divisional round, and this one play really stood out on top of him playing so well against the rush, being a menace behind the line of scrimmage and causing destruction there, but also this play against C.D. Lamb in pass coverage, as good as it gets. So you'll see number 54 here lined up inside the box, showing blitz at the line of scrimmage. C.D. Lamb, on the other hand, is in the slot. And keep in mind where we're at in this football game. It's 9-9, San Francisco and Dallas all tied up. The ball at the 40-yard line. This is a critical 3rd and 5 for the Cowboys to potentially put points on the board. So you see where Warner starts. You see where C.D. Lamb is, who had one of the best seasons for wide receiver production this year and is an extremely fast athlete. Dak Prescott snaps the ball out of the shotgun. You see where CD is. You see how Fred Warner recognizes, oh shoot, in the defensive scheme that we're in, I have to jet back to cover CD Lamb out of the slot. CD Lamb has the advantage. Look at how much ground Warner has to pick up from hash to hash, but also vertically here. And in the blink of an eye, Fred Warner, with what seemed like 4.4, 4.5 speed, given he plays linebacker, is able to go stride for stride with C.D. Lamb right down the seam here for the pass breakup and force Dallas to punt. Not many linebackers in the NFL can do this. In fact, I don't think there are any that can do it. And Fred Warner is going to have to make plays like this against C.D. Lamb come Sunday against Philadelphia, and they're loaded with offensive weaponry, is Philly. So Fred Warner going to have to come to play. As for this Niners defensive line depth chart, it's a very good one. So too is the Niners linebacking core. So the front 7 here for the Eagles against the front 7 against the Niners, and then vice versa, depending on how you flip it on both sides of the ball, is going to be one of the best matchups we've seen among front 7s in the NFL, because you also have to give credit to TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, and technically Hassan Reddick plays a little bit of edge, and he plays linebacker as well. So Eagles defensive line against the Eagles rushing attack, as I said, another key to this game, given what the Eagles were able to do on the ground, against the Giants. And you look at these numbers. We already showed them to you. We're not going to go through them all that much, but it's a good point to bring these rushing numbers up so that you can see them here because of this Eagles rushing offense against a very good Niners rushing defense. These are two of the top units in terms of running the football offensively for Philadelphia and stopping the run defensively for San Francisco. You look at the numbers here for the Niners. Yards per rush, they were 2 in the NFL, surrendering just over 3. Rushing yards per game, second ranked in the National Football League, under 78. Points per game, number 1, just over 16. Yards per game, number 1. Points per play, 0.27. This Eagles offense, it's been one of the most electric offenses we've seen in recent NFL memory. But this Niners defense has also been one of the best defenses we've seen in recent memory, which is really, really impressive considering it's a very pass-happy league. The Buccaneers got wiped by the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys offense was great in that game. In the wild card round, they couldn't do anything. Dallas offensively against this Niners defense. So who you got? PHI for the Eagles, SF for the San Francisco 49ers. Once again, get those game predictions into the comment section. And as always, appreciate you for being a part of the show. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay. What are the people saying? We have a lot of super chats to catch up on as well. We'll catch up on some super chats. Do appreciate those donations that came in. Brandon Taylor with the $10 super chat. Hey, love the show. Came in late. Just wondering if you already explained how you were doing both Birds and Niners chat sports streams when the game happens. We're actually going to talk about that here in just a second. More super chats I believe that we can get to. I know one came in from Elijah Stovall. $2 super chat from Brandon Ford. This one from Davis. He'll be doing the Niners because they are a better team. Funny. Again, we'll talk about that. Brandon Ford, $2 super chat. Starting to like James Bradbury over Darius Slay. Keep Bradbury over Slay. Okay, that's pretty interesting, Brandon Ford. But how is Bradbury going to play against number 1 wide receivers that Darius Slay usually plays up against? Interesting nonetheless. Elijah Stovall with the 10. Why haven't we re-signed Jalen Hurts? When we do, what are the chances it'll be more than $150 million? They haven't re-signed him because they can't re-sign him yet. Have to wait until the offseason. And the potential possibility of him getting more than $150 million, it's going to happen. That's a going rate for quarterbacks, especially a quarterback who's coming off an MVP level season. So expect that for sure. If you want to continue to get on the show, use the hashtag Eagles or Super Chat to get featured on the program. Definitely down to chop it up with everybody. That was what? 2 $10 Super Chats, so that's 2 shots of AG1. As we give you a look at our Super Chat menu, thanks to AG1 for sponsoring the show. Do one more. The rest of our Super Chat menu, $5 will beat the Miner helmet. $10, as I said, AG1 shots. $20, I'll actually chug the Athletic Greens. Got to start off in a healthy fashion today. Always got to. $50, a coffee funnel. I will funnel a coffee out of the Freedom Funnel. We have the coffee right here in this Philly mug. And then for $100, we'll punch a Niners fan. All right, back to that question that we have to address, and everybody's been asking about it. We want to leave it up to you. What do you think we should do for Sunday's watch party NFC Championship game? An option is to dual stream it both on the Niners Report and on Eagles Now so that I can be here for the channel that nearly has 80,000 subscribers and be here for the one that has 40,000 subscribers. Both channels mean a lot to me. Work 7 days during the NFL season to give you content every single day. So I want to be there for both fan bases. But would you be cool with it? M for mad, H for happy. What might be different, I'm going to get excited when the Eagles make a big play. I also have to get excited for when the Niners make a big play. Any big play in the game, I'm going to get excited. So I have to call the game a little bit more neutral. But are you with me or are you against me? M for mad, H for happy. Let's see what the people are saying here. John O'Malley, happy. Robert Livingstone, happy. Ernesto, happy. Davis, happy. David Alston, happy. Nick Stone, happy. Another thought here, I think it could be pretty fun to have a Super Chat battle between Eagles Now and the 49ers Report. A subs gain battle between both channels. A likes battle between both channels. I'm not seeing any mads yet. So this is kind of surprising after yesterday as well when we did it on Niners and overwhelmingly people would be cool with it. So it was like 95-5, 90-10. Not a single person here mad. Elijah Stovall, happy. I appreciate that from the real ones. I really do. So you saw our Super Chat menu. We're going to go live for a little bit longer but not too long. So if you want to send in some Super Chats, here's our Super Chat menu. $5, beat the Miner helmet. We have it right here. $10, athletic green shot. $20, an AG1 chug. $50, a coffee funnel. $100, we'll punch a Niners fan. That is our Super Chat menu. We're already up to nearly $50 in Super, so we do appreciate all that support. Let's see. Tyrone Williams happy. Nick Stone happy. Brandon Ford said it's not fair. Cali has higher wages than Texas.
Yeah, but
also,
California has a state income tax.
Exactly.
And it costs more to live out there.
It costs more to live out there. It costs less to live here. They have a higher state income tax.
Also,
Texas has no state income
Texas
tax.
is just cooler.
Texas is cooler. I agree. I love living in Dallas. I miss my hometown of Philly. I love living in Dallas. When you can walk outside in January and it's 60, 70 degrees pretty consistently, I'll take that. Davis. Dual stream is great because we can see the Eagles crumble together as a big family. See, I think it could be fun to see how both fan bases kind of complement one another. Chad King, with you covering both, how could you be on both channels? It would be a dual stream, as we said. All right, if you want to join the show, hashtag Eagles, Super Chat. We'll stay live for about 15 more minutes, maybe around 2 o'clock Central. How about that? That cool with y'all? All right. We'll stay live for about 15, 20 minutes, so if you want to get your Super Chats in, get them in right now. Let's continue to preview this game between San Francisco and Philadelphia. A snippet, and really to just remind you and refresh your memory on how the Eagles got here. They started off 8-0, franchise record 14 wins this year, won the NFC East as well as the number 1 seed. They beat the Giants in the divisional round by a final score of 38-7. And in that game, it was good to see Jalen Hurts look healthy. He's probably not 100%, but he did account for 3 total touchdowns with a quarterback rating of about 113. The Eagles ran the ball all over New York, totaling nearly 270 rushing yards on the day. Kenneth Gainwell led the charge as the link was popping on Saturday night. 12 carries, 112 yards. Miles Sanders had 90. Devontae Smith made a couple of big plays, and this Eagles offense was great. Eagles defense maybe even better. As for how the Niners got here, they started off 3-4, a different path than Philadelphia. Eagles start off 8-0. Everybody's like, wow, this team is unbelievable before they fall to the Washington Commanders. The 49ers were panicking in the early going of the season because they had Super Bowl aspirations, Super Bowl expectations. They start off 3-4. Then they finish with 12 straight wins, including the playoffs. 13-4 in the regular season, been the hottest team in football. These two teams, the two best squads in all of football for quite a while here. And the 49ers in the playoffs beat the Seahawks as well as the Dallas Cowboys. And speaking of those Cowboys, say it with me, how about them Cowboys? They go down in the divisional round again. 28 straight years they haven't advanced to an NFC Championship game. San Francisco's defense stellar. Really putting the clamps on Dallas, only allowing 1 offensive touchdown. They were so good, and they did what they needed to do late to clinch that win, did San Francisco. As for the Niners and Eagles playoff history, not much of one, actually. 49ers and Eagles have only met in the playoffs once, 1996 wild card game when San Francisco had won 14-0. This will also be a very good quarterback matchup as some young guns going to be squaring off at that quarterback spot. In fact, it's the youngest NFC title game quarterback matchup ever. Jalen Hurts is 24, Brock Purdy is 23, and they had this game back in the day. In 2019, a Big 12 shootout and showdown that was an incredible game in which Jalen Hurts ended up on the winning end of it. Is it going to be like this with the fireworks popping on Sunday afternoon? Potentially. Let's throw the clocks back a little bit. Brock Purdy in this game against Oklahoma in Norman, as evidenced by the photo there in the middle. 19-30, 282 yards, 6 total touchdowns, 55 rushing yards. Iowa State lost 42-41. Brock Purdy and Iowa State went for 2 and the win, and Purdy was intercepted in the end zone there, so they fell short. Jalen Hurts, on the other hand, 273 passing yards, 5 total touchdowns to 1 pick, 68 rushing yards as well with that victory, with Oklahoma being ranked number 9 at the time. And this is a matchup, as we're going to continue to say, is just loaded with incredible talent. And honestly, we're going to show you some of the marquee players here on both sidelines. It's almost disrespectful, right? Because we're excluding some players. On the San Francisco sideline, Trent Williams is a future Hall of Famer, best left tackle in the game. Christian McCaffrey's a 2-time All-Pro. Deebo Samuel was an All-Pro last year. Brandon Ayuk just had more than 1,000 yards. George Kittle, tremendous. Nick Bosa, so good. Fred Warner, All-Pro, potential future Hall of Famer. So too, by the way, George Kittle, Nick Bosa. Dre Greenlaw, borderline All-Pro this year. Talanoa Hufanga was an AP All-Pro. And Jimmy Ward ranked a top 100 player by fellow players in the NFL prior to this year. And for the Eagles, Jalen Hurts, MVP caliber season. Miles Sanders, more than 1,000 rushing yards. A.J. Brown, the record for this Eagles franchise with the most receiving yards. Devontae Smith, the record for the most receptions. Dallas Goedert and George Kittle, two of the best, most well-rounded tight ends in the sport. Jason Kelce, future Hall of Famer. Lane Johnson, future Hall of Famer. Hassan Reddick, 17.5 sacks in 16 games. Brandon Graham, a career-high 11 sacks this year. Former first-round pick, had the best play in Eagles franchise history, by the way, the strip of Tom Brady to clinch the Super Bowl, and Darius Slay, very, very good corner. So with that, predict the score. Birds, Niners, let us know. If anybody has a super chat, we'll take some super chats. If not, we're probably going to sign off here quickly. Predict the score. Eagles, Niners, who you got? John O'Malley. Eagles, the Niners don't play well against mobile quarterbacks. They don't. I talked about it a little bit earlier. Chad King, I'm a Niners fan. I believe this will come down to who has the ball at the end of the game. I agree. And what's cool about that, Robbie Gould has never missed in the playoffs, nor has Jake Elliott. John O'Malley with that one. Yeah, it's a good point. 32-16 from John. Justice, 31-23. Davis likes the Niners. Nick Stone, 35-24 Eagles. Elijah, 21-17. He likes Philly as well. Let's show him the Super Chat menu. We'll go 2-minute shot clock here. And if no Super Chats come in, we'll just sign off. Just wanted to go live quickly. Been live for about 41 minutes here. Our Super Chat menu before we hop out. Once I get done reading everything, we'll put 2 minutes on the Super Chat shot clock. $5 will beat the Miner helmet. $10 a shot of AG1. $20 an AG1 chug. $50 a coffee funnel. $100 will punch a Niners fan. 2-minute shot clock starts right now. I kind of wanted to do this coffee funnel. We have the coffee here in the Philly mug. Shout out to Super Bowl 52. What a night. Partied in Westchester till 3 or 4 in the morning. Woke up at 6 for work, drove 2 hours, and covered news the next day. It was a good day. It was a long day, but it was worth it. So that's our Super Chat menu. Going back to the comment section here, Nick Stone likes the Eagles, 35-24. John O'Malley, didn't the Chiefs beat the Niners 44-23 or something like that? I'm not worried, bro. Yeah, and since then, Niners haven't lost. That was with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Brock Purdy adds a different element to this Niners offense. David Austin, 31-17 Birds. Approaching 1 minute on the Super Chat shot clock. Up to $51. 50 more, we're doing a coffee funnel. Spirit Hunter, good to see you back. 15-10 Eagles like the Atlanta game. Oh, man, that would be a legendary defensive slugfest. I think there's too much offensive talent, though, for that to be the final score. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring than that. My prediction was 31-28. Anybody else got anything in the comment section? 1:30 on our 2-minute shot clock for our Super Chat menu. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with us. Do a couple live shows this week for sure. And let's show them that watch party comment driver one more time. Would you be mad if we did a dual San Francisco-Philadelphia stream? M for mad, H for happy. Our last question for the people. 10 seconds left on our Super Chat shot clock. John O'Malley happy. Jeffrey L. said the Eagles are going to kill the Niners. Brandon Ford happy. Appreciate you, brother. Ernesto happy. Davis happy. Fair enough. Garoppolo's out for the year. Yes, he is, Chad King. Jay Ray happy as well. All right, we're going to sign off. Appreciate all of you for joining the live show today. We just want to live up to our word of giving you the best NFC Championship game coverage, which includes videos every day, sometimes maybe multiple videos per day, and a couple of live shows this week. So if you're coming across the show for the first time, please make sure you subscribe. And this is a great week to turn your notification settings onto all. Therefore, when we push out a video, when we go live for our watch party and our live shows, you will be notified. We out. We'll catch you. Enjoy the week. Keep an eye out for our content.